Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
That's brand new Randy Piper's Animal right here on the Classic Metal Show from the latest release called Virus. The name of that tune there is Can't Stop. And I can't believe it, but we have got the one and only Randy Piper on the phone with us. Welcome back to the Classic Metal Show there, Randy.
How you doing, buddy?
It's real good. You know, we were just talking off air that we haven't chatted in a while, and it's been a while since you've been a part of the Classic Metal Show. In fact, I think the last time we had you on the show was when you actually came down to the WSTV studio live, and
right.
that was 2 releases ago, and now here you are back with a brand new CD.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we were trying to get a hold of you on your last release. I was dealing with I don't know, he was acting as a publicist or something for you, and he was supposed to get me a copy of the CD and set me up with an interview with you or Rich, and nothing ever materialized out of that. So let's step back in time to your last release, which was killer. But unfortunately, it didn't seem to get any traction or not a whole lot of press, and you guys were basically silent on that.
I don't know if we were silent. Just, I don't know. We kind of depend on all you guys to get it out there.
Sure.
Oh, maybe you were silent.
No.
They don't tell me I'm silent.
Well, we were kind of looking for maybe some tour dates from you guys. I know you played some, you had some problems with getting over into the European market, and then
actually, it was the other way around. Actually, we recorded the album and we went to Europe. We played the Sweden Rock Fest, and we did a bunch of other shows in Stockholm and Norway, and we found an opportunity to go over there and record the new album at the same time we were going over there, to do the shows and stuff. So
Sure.
Actually, it was like we didn't tour the U.S.
Right.
But we recorded that album actually in Ohio.
What part of Ohio? Where did you record that at?
Rich and I lived in Cincinnati at that time.
Right.
Rich still lives there, but I moved to Arizona.
Right.
I needed a little drier climate.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I know that you had relocated for a short time down to the Florida area where you were working with Jack Livingood for a little while, and then you headed out west. Yeah.
I had it. I tried Florida for a little while too. I mean, I've visited there a bunch of times. I've played there a bunch of times, but it's not somewhere I really want to live. I came back out west. I like the climate out here.
Sure. Too humid in Florida and nice and dry, but warm in Arizona.
Too many mosquitoes. They call them flying teeth or something.
Yeah, no kidding.
They'll fucking eat you alive, man. I can't stand it.
Sure.
I don't like getting eaten by bugs, man. It was like, and I hate spraying off on all the time. It's like cologne, but different.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Randy, the new CD here, this new CD just entitled Virus is a very reminiscent of the WASP type music that obviously you were a part of in the very early days. It's almost like a throwback CD. It's very true to your guitar tone and sound that you had was with WASP, and obviously Rich Lewis has a very Blackie Lawless quality to his vocal stylings, and it's probably in my opinion some of the stuff that maybe Blackie should have been doing, a little more hard driving than what WASP is doing.
Well, I don't know. People keep saying that about Rich, but Rich and I have been together for on and off for 20 years. I mean, and a lot of people compare him to Blackie, but I don't really see a resemblance other than he has a a raspy voice. I've said this all along. If you A/B the two, you'll see that Rich has a much more lower kind of a gruff tone to his voice, and he actually doesn't sound anything like Blackie. I think you could say the same between guys like Bon Scott or Brian Johnson or I don't know, anybody that has a really gruff voice or whatever, but Rich has always had a more guttural type voice to him or whatever. He used to be in the 80s when we played together. He was a screamer, and that was the thing back then is Queensryche and Judas Priest and all that, who could sing the highest and hold the notes the longest or whatever. But Rich really has always just wanted to use his real voice, which is what he's done on the last two albums.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people compare him to Blackie, but I still don't see it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I know different.
Right.
But, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, WASP was a pretty kick-ass band, and Blackie's got a lot of fans out there, and Rich has to kind of live this down, I think, like Brian Johnson did when he replaced Bon Scott or whatever.
Sure.
People were saying he was trying to sound like. Well, I don't really think he was trying to sound like Bon Scott, but he was just. They found a singer that was maybe in the same vein, but different. So
right. There's
a bit of similarity, and that's because we all came out of the same era or whatever. But I think that's about it.
Sure. Well, it's.
I mean,
go ahead.
We're not trying to sound like WASP. If there's any simulants at all, it's just because I was in that band, and I'm in this band. So.
Well, you got to admit though that you do have that classic WASP guitar tone on this new CD.
Do I?
I think so. It sounds very, very, very early WASP, that classic WASP guitar tone.
I was going for more of a Uli John Roth kind of a Scorpions sound. So maybe I didn't pull it off.
Sure. Well, I think you sound like Randy Piper. How's that?
Oh, okay, cool. Did I pull that off?
I believe so.
Okay, well, as long as if I could sound like me, that's better than nothing. I don't know.
Well, Randy, back on the first release, 900 Pound Steam, after you had released that and played some shows with that, and you even joined back up with your former WASP bandmate Chris Holmes and did a couple of shows with him and whatnot. The Randy Piper's Animal was kind of in flux as far as what you really wanted to do or whether you wanted to continue pursuing that and whatnot. What made you decide that, hey, this is what I want to do and I think we should move forward with the band?
Well, Rich and I thought it was maybe a good idea. We said, hey, let's try this. We've been through so many members, and a lot of bands do, And it was like, hey, I finally got a hold of Chris and Tony, and I thought, oh, this might be cool. Let's try this. So we brought him out to Ohio, and we did a tour. We went to New York and Chicago a couple of times, and we did the circuit back there, and it just. It was kind of like going backwards. It wasn't really moving forward. So, we tried that, and Rich and I said, okay, well, shit, what are we going to do now? And we said, oh, well, we've been getting these emails and stuff from this guy from Sweden saying he wants to produce the next album. So, we called him, and it kind of escalated. He said, hey, let me send you a couple song ideas. You guys put on some tracks. Send them back. So we did that. We put guitar tracks on, vocals tracks. We sent them back. They went back and forth. And we were sitting down listening to it one day, and like 3/4 of the album was like done. And we're like, wow, this pretty much kicks ass. It's like, why don't we pursue this? So that's exactly what we did. Chris Laney came over to America. we locked ourselves in to my studio for a couple weeks, and we finished like the record. He went home, mixed it, and but basically we did it all over the internet, which was pretty amazing at that time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Chris Laney being with the Zan Clan, you know, and you know, working with you guys and bringing. I guess he's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Zan Clan kind of a harder edge band. I think he did a good job with you know, bringing that harder edge feeling to the Violent New Breed. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, actually, you know, because he's a little younger than Rich and myself or whatever, he brought a lot to the table, and he's really good at what he does. I mean, he's a great producer, he's a good engineer, and you know, we just hit it off. So when he came over, we just like I said, we locked ourselves in and basically finished the record. He took it home and mixed it, and then, you know, then we had a new album. We said, okay, well, you know, I think it's in our best interest if we come over there. And we had an offer from the Sweden Rock people to open the festival. And we said, yeah, okay, that'll be cool. So we went over there and did that. And in between all the shows that we did over there and traveling, we recorded the new album. So it was like, yeah, we were pretty busy, you know. But we pulled it off. Yeah.
In a stellar way, I might add. Now, being that you've played over there in the European markets where they still love their rock and roll and their metal, and you know, living here in the U.S. where obviously this kind of stuff has a very difficult time gaining traction. Do you have any intention of doing anything here in the States? Is there any interest at all, or is the States pretty much a dead market to you as far as live performance?
No, actually, it's getting better and better with, you know, like Rocklahoma and all the festivals that we're having here during the summers and stuff. It, you know, I want to tour here, but of course we've got 3 Swedes in the band now, so it's a little different. I don't know. I've never been like in a virtual band before.
Sure.
And you know, even though we're separated, I mean, with computers the way they are now, we all have sight cameras, and you know, I mean, Chris Laney and I were like rehearsing over the internet with video conferencing and everything, you know, like weeks before Rich and I ever went over there.
Right.
So we were going over riffs, and we were going, well, hold on, what are you playing here? And you know, I mean, it was actually a lot of fun.
Sure.
Like way different than anything that I've done before. And we didn't have this technology 10 years ago either.
Oh.
So. And
it cuts down on the expense.
Oh yeah, the phone calls and all that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's AOL, whatever, you know, it's all free. So it was pretty cool.
Right. So who do you consider as being part of Randy Piper's Animal? Who are your band members aside from you and Rich?
Well, it's the lineup that it is right now.
Which is?
Kohlberg's on drums, and Nala Paulson, the bass player, and you know, he's actually pretty famous over there. He's played with Udo. He's played with everyone, and he's just like an awesome bass player. And then of course Chris Laney.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, like you said, you would love to play here in the States. Now, being that there have been, you know, festivals cropping up, you know, over the last couple of years, as you mentioned,
right.
Rocklahoma and Rock the Bayou, and
yes,
and what is it? South Texas Rock Jam was another one.
Yep.
And have you gotten?
Which is a good one for me because I'm from Texas.
Sure. Well, have you gotten any offers or any bites or any chances of getting?
Yeah, you know, we're working on it for next summer, but you know, of course, right now with the holidays and everything, there's nothing that's going to happen till after the first of the year anyway. So it's still all in negotiations right now, and we'll see what happens. You know, coming up, it took us a little while longer to get this album out than we anticipated.
Right.
I mean, it's been done for forever. I mean, you know, I really can't even wait to start on the new one because I'm bored already. You know.
Sure. Now, since you've you've turned out three pretty solid releases with Randy Piper's Animal, do you find yourself having like a renewed interest in being a performer and recording and whatnot, even though the market and the record industry really doesn't really support that, being that the record industry is in the toilet and touring costs a lot of money, but yet what keeps you wanting to continue doing this?
Oh, those are all great questions. With file sharing and this and that, it's really getting hard for bands to make any money. I mean, they make a good album or whatever, and then you sell one copy, someone puts it on the internet, and everybody has it. It's like, why would they go out and buy your album?
Mm-hmm.
I think the only solution to this is live performances.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but we're all getting older, and you can't. But I don't know. Look at the Stones.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what the fucking answer is, to tell you the truth. All we can do is like what we can do, and you ask about my passion or whatever, and that's basically I love recording. I love making records that will go down in history one way or the other, way after you're gone. You know what I mean?
Right.
That they'll still be around, and that's basically your legacy and what you leave behind. You played "Can't Stop" at the beginning of the show here, and at the end of that is actually my son. He's a rapper, and he does a little thing at the end of the song there where he's rapping, and I thought that was pretty cool. Actually, also Rich's son wrote some lyrics for a song called "Who's Next" that's on the album. So we got to bring our kids into this, which was kind of cool too. I've kind of been waiting all my life to do something like that, and that was pretty cool.
Sure.
See what happens next,
Well, I see, speaking of legendary guitarists and guys who've been in the music business for a while, and their legacy with their kids, I just saw the news article the other day about Rainbow reforming with Ritchie Blackmore's son being the guitarist in that, with some of the classic band members, Jolyn Turner in there, and Greg Smith, and Rhonda Nelly, and those people joining in.
Wow.
Yeah, but since Ritchie doesn't want to do it, they get the next best thing, which is the son, and he's going to do it.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him. Look at Zeppelin with Jason, and I mean, it's amazing. I mean, we've all got some years behind us here, so who knows?
Sure. Now, we talked briefly about WASP, and I know that you and Blackie probably haven't, really spoken much, or have you in the recent past?
No, I don't know. I talked to him a few years back or whatever. We don't really have a lot in common these days.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
He's doing his thing. I'm after I left the band or whatever, I was doing my thing. I've been pursuing that ever since. So,
right. Now I know, since you played with Chris Holmes a few years ago, are you still in touch with him?
I haven't talked to Chris for a while, but he's in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Tony lives in Phoenix, and I've talked to him on and off. I mean, we're still friends, but we're not the best friends. We don't hang out.
Well, you got your own great thing happening here with Randy Piper's Animal, which like I said, Randy, for the last 3 CDs, 900 Pound Steam, this new one, Virus, and your last one, what was that called again?
Violent New Breed.
Yeah, Violent New Breed. All solid releases from your band.
Okay.
Well, that's just a compliment that even though that you were part of obviously a influential band with a charismatic frontman, you've been able to branch off and go do your own thing and do it quite well.
Yeah, well, Rich Lewis and I are like brothers. I mean, like I said, we've been together on and off for 20 years, and, you know, we've had our ins and outs, which brothers do. You know, anybody, you know, that's a brother can tell you that. You know, they fight, and they make up, and they fight, and, you know, it's just the way it is. But, you know, we're really the best of friends, and even though I moved back from Ohio, back out west or whatever, I still talk to him maybe, you know, at least once a week, twice a week, something like that.
Sure.
And, you know, before we left for Sweden this time, he came out here for a week, and we recorded and, you know, went over stuff and wrote lyrics. And, you know, it's like, you know, it's like I was never gone or he was never gone or whatever. You know, we're still that close. And, you know, yeah, that'll continue always.
Right.
We're brothers, you know what I mean?
Sure. Now, we're
and his brother too, you know.
It's all
brother
one.
KL's a singer too, and you know we were close friends too. So the three of us, they used to call us the Booze Brothers.
Nice. well, Randy, where can people find this new CD?
Well, we signed with Locomotive. So, I don't know, you can look up Locomotive USA. There's Locomotive Spain. It came out in the Scandinavia. I don't know, our websites, I guess, which we got a shitload of them. You know, everybody in the band, I guess, pretty much has their own websites.
Sure.
The MySpace is the, you know, animalcave.com, animalcave.net, you know, Chris Laney, Randy Piper, you know. So I don't know. You can find us. All you have to just look for us, I guess.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Well, Randy, you want to tell the fans anything we haven't talked about here, or anything you want to get out there that I haven't mentioned or we haven't discussed?
No, not really. Other than, you know, thanks for their support, and you know, I hope they like the new one, and then, you know, the last one. I think the first one, 900 Pound Steam, was a little immature, and the production on it wasn't very good, but we actually never really meant to release that. They were basically demos, and at the end of the day, we ended up releasing them just to move on, which, you know, helped us get going on the second one, and then of course the third one. But you know, I think there's some really radio-friendly songs on this album, and hopefully, you know, maybe this one will be the one that breaks us.
Well, I for your sake, I hope that is the case. Well,
yeah, you know, everything's a gamble these days.
Sure.
Who knows? But I can't wait to start working on the next one. So.
Excellent. Well, you can go check out Randy Piper's Animal over there at their official website, animalcave.net. Also, check them out there on the MySpace, myspace.com/Randy Piper's Animal, and then go pick up the CD just called Virus from Locomotive Records, which you're in good company over there at Locomotive there, Randy, with the great band Benedictum, and I believe that Veronica lives out there in Arizona, the lead singer of Benedictum. Are you familiar with them at all?
No, I'm not actually, but I'll look into it.
Benedictum's on your label. I believe Doro's on Locomotive. I believe Kate French. I'm trying to think what her band's name is. But the Locomotive, a great album or record label, and they seem to have a great, a great pool of talent, including Randy Piper's Animal. So good stuff there, Randy.
Okay, well, I want to thank you, Neely, and thanks to all the fans.
All right, Randy. Well, we need to ask you the Classic Metal Show traditional question, which we've been asking for a couple of years now. We ask everybody this question, and since it's been a while since you've been on the show, here's the question: How has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
I love Lemmy. Hey, Lemmy's the only one that Sweden Rock Festival lets them play year after year. Now, does that say something or what?
Well, Lemmy obviously an icon and a legend, and
oh yeah,
there's no one else like him.
No, there isn't. He's the bomb, dude.
Absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
well, go pick up the new Randy Piper's Animal, just called Virus, on Locomotive Records. And Randy, as a tradition, we always let the artist pick a closing song and maybe tell us a story about it.
Well, why don't you play the opener to the album, which is Cardiac Arrest, and that's probably what's going to happen to me if something doesn't happen soon.
Excellent. All right.
I'll let her fly.
All right. Well, here it is. This is brand new.
I love you, Neely. Take care, brother.
Thanks, man. There's
All right,
Randy Piper's Animal with Cardiac Arrest from the Virus release, exclusively here on your Classic Metal Show. Thanks for checking out the best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.